If you guys are real gamers, then you would know that GTA 5 is an exaggerated parody of American politics and social issues. Rockstar Games doesn't spare anyone's feelings or pull back in fear of getting cancelled. And of course, with a company like that, you expect to see certain news headlines about Grand Theft Auto influencing young children to commit crimes.
This desensitizes people to the real risk that police face, and I find it offensive.
Or games in general having a negative impact on, well, gamers. But today we're looking at an article from Kotaku that seems to be emulating an article from BuzzFeed back in 2013. The title of this article is GTA 5's enhanced 2022 release should leave the 2013 transphobia behind. And when I seen this article in my Twitter feed, I had to click on it. This article was written by the same person that regularly tweets about the struggles of trans people. Some of them being legitimate and some of them sort of scream, being trans is my only personality trait and everything I talk about has to revolve around me being a victim because I'm trans. But just to make sure this video stays up, I have to instruct all of you watching to not seek out any individuals in this video and harass them. And with that out of the way, you might be wondering how exactly GTA 5 could be transphobic when there are no transgender characters in the game. And you'd be forgiven for thinking that because most people don't know there's actually a couple transgender NPCs at the Cockatoo's bar next to Los Santos Custom. Now the problem with this Kotaku article is that they're blaming the player's actions on the game itself. Years ago, I saw a video on YouTube since removed of a GTA 5 player deliberately brutalizing some of the game's trans sex workers for his own amusement. And the comments, one viewer voiced these chilling words of encouragement: "You're doing God's work." You're doing God's work. Sometimes when someone says or does something that puts me on guard, I flash back to that video, to that comment. Then I wonder if any of the strangers around me would enjoy hurting me, or if they think that someone murders somebody for being trans, they're doing God's work. If a player chooses to hunt down and waste every black person they see, that would make the player a bigot, not Grand Theft Auto 5, but replace black person with trans person, and now the player isn't bigoted, Rockstar is. Do you see the problem with that line of logic right there? If GTA 5 is transphobic because of what the player chooses to do, then that means that GTA 5 also has to be racist, sexist, fatphobic, transphobic, and all the other phobias combined. The article goes on to say, will Rockstar reckon with the game's transphobia? Will the company make any adjustments so that the game doesn't lend itself so aggressively to fulfilling the murderous transphobic fantasies of players who hate us? And here's probably the most frustrating part of this article. The author actually acknowledges that GTA 5 is an equal opportunity in the sense that it lets you attack anyone that you want. But they go on to argue that Rockstar designed these NPCs to be hateful stereotypes that are designed specifically so that some players could relish hurting them and killing them because they are trans. It almost feels like the author never even played Grand Theft Auto before, because if you have, you would know that Rockstar plays into every stereotype and hyper exaggerates them to make their worlds a ridiculous parody of America.
Grand Theft Auto 4 is real life. Whenever you steal a black guy's car, he's listening to rap. Whenever you steal a Mexican guy's, he's listening to fucking Hasta mañana, tortilla chalupa.
Most of the landscapers in the game, including your own landscaper, are Mexican. There's an entire submission dedicated to catching illegal Mexicans crossing the border into the United States. You could make the argument that GTA 5 is bigoted toward any type of people or even religion. But that's the thing. GTA 5 goes after everyone, not just certain marginalized groups like the author would have you believe. I mean, you can do terrible things in this game. Here's an example. On Vespucci Beach, you can run into Jesus, the Son of God. I know it says Jesse here, but if you listen to the dialogue, it is very clear this NPC is meant to be Jesus. Guess what I can do to this NPC? The same horrible things I can do to everyone else in the game.
Hello. Mess him up, little homie.
I've been a Christian my entire life, and I kind of felt bad for doing my man like that, but you don't see me calling GTA 5 an anti-religious game and calling for them to remove Jesus in the 2022 re-release. The author goes on to say, for the 2022 release, the character models of trans sex workers from the 2013 edition can simply be removed. You'd rather have the entirety of trans representation removed entirely from GTA 5 than for Rockstar to allow players to attack NPCs? But wait, wouldn't that mean that GTA 5 is transphobic due to its lack of transgender representation? I mean, this is Rockstar Games we're talking about, the same company that put a certain white-hooded gang into Red Dead Redemption 2. It has nothing to do with being bigoted. I hate that the author of this article just assumes that the NPCs at the gay bar are sex workers when they aren't. The only trans sex worker is the stripper at the Vanilla Unicorn, and in fact, she isn't even a sex worker, because she's one of the only strippers that you can't take home with you. Meaning, if anything, Rockstar is trying to avoid stereotypes about the LGBT community being sleazy and easy to get into bed. And on top of that, I did my own experiment in-game, and the NPCs outside of the gay bar would attack me first without being provoked.
I am not killing you.
So if anything, these aren't innocent trans people being attacked by bigoted players. If you just played the game and looked into this for 5 minutes before writing your dumb article, you'd see that. But games journalists are fucking retarded and don't look into anything because all they can see is dollar signs and clicks when they think of an eye-catching title. And I'm so pissed off because these articles are written by dumb people that make all gamers look like racist, bigoted assholes for no reason. To quote iDubbbz, it's either all okay or none of it is okay. If I'm not allowed to kill a cross-dresser, I shouldn't be allowed to kill Jesus. If Rockstar isn't allowed to make fun of the LGBT community, then they shouldn't be able to make fun of cis straight people either. It's either all okay or none of it is. And suggesting that the entirety of representation of your own community be removed entirely from a game is the only thing dumber than Rockstar re-releasing GTA 5 for a third time. In fact, if we just remove GTA 5 entirely from the PS5 and Xbox Series X lineup, everyone would be happy. Us bigoted gamers with hatred for the LGBT community would be happy. We don't have to see this game milked for another decade, and this stupid journalist would be happy that the NPCs won't be coming to the next generation of consoles. It's a win-win. Your move, Rockstar.